Welcome into the Bama Football YouTube channel. Brett Elmore in our studios, and more breaking news out of the portal. We'll wait for folks to jump in with us and get your reaction to the news here this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, that we've landed another one out of the portal. Geno VanDeMark, the big offensive lineman we've been talking about from Michigan State, the Spartans, has just announced that he is coming to Alabama. So we're getting reaction about that this morning here on a Saturday as the hits just keep on coming. And it's great to see that we continue to have success not only on the recruiting trail, but also in the portal. So let's talk about that, and you can jump in the comment section as well. Of course, VanDeMark, 6'5", 320-pound offensive lineman. He's going to have a couple of years of eligibility left in him. He played 18 games for Michigan State. He's going to provide some depth there on the line. And we pull up his his stats. He's from New Jersey, and like we mentioned, is going to have a couple of years left in him. And we had talked about a little bit about him last week on the show, that he would probably play a backup role on the offensive line. Could compete for a starting job, who knows? But once again, once you get into the bulk of the season, especially the schedule that we play this year, you get into the bulk of the schedule, and you're going to have some attrition. I mean, folks are going to get dinged up. They're going to get hurt. And this is another spot on the roster that we're just adding depth to. And it's great news on a Saturday morning when you add a guy like Geno VanDeMark. If you're just now joining us, the offensive lineman from Michigan State is heading to Tuscaloosa, heading to Alabama. And everyone jumping in the comment section. And it's a good one. It's a good one to add. And we'll get some of your comments on Roll Tide, everybody. Welcome in on a Saturday. Yes, I have arrived on the live. Mick is on assignment today. And so he's left me the keys to the vehicle, baby. But I had to jump on and do something live here about VanDeMark, because we've been talking about him for several days, and we expected, we expected him to make an announcement fairly soon. Didn't know it was going to be today, though, and going to try to get Mick in. I don't know if he's going to be available to jump in or not. Like I say, he is on assignment today, and we'll let you get in the comments section and talk about this, and we'll talk more about the depth there at the spot on the line. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to shoot off an email here. But let's get your reaction to this. And this is a good question here. He is one of those versatile guys that we had Clint Lamb on the other day, and he was talking about VanDeMark and the impact that he could make on the line because of his versatility at the line, and that would create some guys that are currently there that we may be able to shift around. I don't know, don't know exactly what their plans are for him. All I do know is it's going to add that depth that we need, and he's a name that you need to know from Michigan State, and they've already taken him off the Michigan State website. But he's a guy coming out of high school that was comfortable really playing on the right or left side of the ball. Um, and he's a guy that a lot of folks think he could be a late round draft pick, possibly in the third round or so. But he played his high school ball up in New Jersey as an offensive tackle. Um, but very strong. And once again, just some depth that we're going to add to the offensive line. Here's a great comment too, and I want to get to another comment as well here in just a second. Yeah, Landon Dickerson. That is a great point. Due to his versatility, yeah. He's comfortable playing anywhere on the line, the right side or the left side. So that versatility is key and king when we talk about the offensive line, because like I was talking about earlier, guys, you get into this. Hey, Mick,
what's up?
yeah, I could hear you. Mick is like I said on assignment.
Big Elmo, man, big sexy Elmo. Look at this, Alabama at it again.
At it again, brother. And what do you think about this? What do you think about this edition?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, we needed some help in the secondary, and we got that with our favorite new player, King Mack.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Jones earlier this week. But this is an interior offensive lineman, someone who knows Coach Cap and kind of how he does business, and picked Alabama over Oklahoma and some other schools that were really after him. He is, was one of the most sought after players that it was available. And I'm excited. I mean, I think this is really good.
Yeah, I am too. The news just coming down, and we were talking about it in the comments section. A lot of folks talking about what a jack of all trades he is, and that's a great point, and that's something we were talking about before you jumped on. This is a guy that's comfortable playing on the left or right side of the ball, but it also gives us the comfort of knowing that just like Clint was talking about the other day, this may be able, we may be able to shift some guys around on the line of scrimmage a little bit more and put them at different positions if needed.
Yeah, right. And Clint was pretty big on us getting him. He was right. He felt like that it was trending in that direction, and he was right. And I think this is a really big week for Alabama and Coach DeBoer. Where you go out and you get the players that you want to come help the program, and you're not going to win games if your offensive line isn't blocking.
Well, that's where it all starts, man. Down in the trenches, and this is this isn't no small dude, man. I mean, this is a big old guy with some great experience. I'm not knocking any of where some of the other players may have played, but when you play at Michigan State and you're a 2-year letterman, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think all of us are sick of NIL and the transfer portal and everything that goes along with it. But at the same time, this is the game that we're in right now, and you got to play it. And adding someone that can help your offensive line, it was a unit that had a spot or two, someone that they know the way that he shows up and does his business, the type of teammate he is, because obviously he spent time with the offensive line coach. So it's not like you're having someone that's going to come in and mess up your culture. So that I think that's important too, and that's something that Coach DeBoer talked about. Having players that come in and you don't have 5 guys transferring out because you brought 1 guy in. Having guys that come in and match the culture that Alabama's established. And one of the biggest things that Coach DeBoer's done is respect what he's inherited and just try to build on that and take advantage of the work that Nick Saban did and the legacy that was left to him.
Yeah, and this guy he enters the portal and a 6'5", 320. Talking about his size, but you're right about Oklahoma. Oklahoma was one of the first teams that was really after him once he hit the portal, and Alabama just came in blazing, guns a-blazing. And man, talking about Coach getting the job done in the portal again, Coach DeBoer has done it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's man. You worry so much about what this program's going to be like without Nick Saban. You know, how's Alabama going to, continue its dynasty without the leader of the dynasty? But Coach DeBoer and his staff really just hit the ground running. So another example of that is going out and winning battles in the transfer portal. You know, a lot of the damage that was done at Alabama, guys, was done before Coach DeBoer even hit the ground as Alabama's coach. You know, I wonder if Caleb Downs would have just given the guy a chance if he would have really transferred. You know, if he would have just waited until the spring, where he could have just seen basically the culture that's being created right now in Tuscaloosa. But the guys that have been around Coach DeBoer from Washington, they've transferred over. You know, you've got your center, a quarterback, a receiver, guys that know what he does, and they like him. And also obviously a defensive recruit that was going to go to Washington, and Carter, that came to Alabama. Now some of the guys that coach on his staff are doing the same thing. Like, look, if you're not happy at Michigan State, you want to come play with the big boys in the SEC, there's a spot for you. And if you're going to play in the SEC instead of going to Oklahoma, taking a risk on what to expect, come to Alabama. We'll take it. We're the best. We're still the best. I know Georgia's had a few years near the top. We've had decades near the top. We've had decades on top. And I don't think that's going to change. But every time one of these these guys commits and Alabama beats out the competition, it just goes back to the very point that I'm trying to make, and that's that this dynasty isn't going anywhere.
A question from Sam, and it's a good point. Shouldn't this pickup complete Bama's 85-man scholarship limit, and therefore the linebacker out of South Alabama will have to go elsewhere?
Brett, look, man, I'm probably going to dip off here in a second, but I will say this: I have stopped trying to do the math on the scholarship.
Right, because it was hard enough to do it to begin with, but now with transfer portals and everything else, yeah. I'm out.
David would just keep bringing guys in, and you'd be like, okay, I thought we were out of spots, but
yeah.
There's different ways to to find a place for somebody. Some guys that aren't going to be ready yet. They move to I've seen gray shirts and stuff like that. So I don't know, like, is this roster set right now at 85? My math tells me that it is, or it's really close to it, but then all of a sudden something happens and I'm like, well, how did that happen? I thought we were at 85.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
A math guy, though.
Right. I mean, we should go back to the Bryant days where he recruited everybody and we had like 110 people on the sidelines.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But anyway, look, I'm going to dip off, Brett. You keep doing your thing. Roll everybody. Look, we got a lot excited about with where this program is and what's going on right now. And I think that's what the discussion that you guys are having is all about. And it's exciting. We and the other thing, Brett, is don't forget, tell everybody this happened. So,
Mick, we've lost Mick in the world of the cyber age. But anyway, he made his points clear. This is a great pickup for Alabama. Let's look at some of your comments in the comments section. Mr. Rogers, thank you very much. Welcome aboard and roll tide, Geno. That's going to be a big Geno. Let's see here. Coach D is well capable and doing just fine thanks to previous coaches that had set the standard and good reputation to attract these players to Alabama. It's a very, very good point. And Sam, Brett, I will hit the portal this afternoon and open up a spot for the linebacker from South Alabama. Yeah. I need you to go to you need to go the JUCO routes, Sam, for a couple of years, and let's make some room for that linebacker from South Alabama. in case you're just tuning in this morning, soon to be afternoon here in the great state of Alabama, I hope you're having a good weekend and having a good Saturday. And this is some great welcome news, right? If you're just joining us, Bama picks another one up in the portal. Geno VanDeMark is heading to Tuscaloosa. The 6'5", 320-pound native of New Jersey comes to Tuscaloosa via Michigan State. This is a guy I think that did he hit the portal once before and then withdrew his name and then jumped back in? I can't remember, but anyway, Geno is heading to Tuscaloosa. So that's what we're talking about here this afternoon. You guys be sure to tune in the morning. We'll have another show, Mick and I, for the Sunday edition of the Bama Tailgate Daily. So be sure to join us for that in the morning. We'll be talking more about this. I'm out of eligibility. And trust me, you would not want me to be on the offensive or defensive line. We've got that covered. Jeff is asking, aren't we over the limit now? I don't know. Like I say, that's a question we were talking with Mick about. I don't know what the number is right now, to be perfectly honest with you. You kind of lose, it was hard enough when you were dealing with the recruiting of the old days and kind of where you were at. Now you got folks transferring in, transferring out, and it's like, where are you at? As far as the number. But we'll look into that today, and we'll talk more about this subject and much more coming up on tomorrow's show. So want you guys to have a great, like I say, a great Saturday. I'm going to get out. We're having art in the park right down the road from where I live. So I'm going to go check that out, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Until tomorrow, for Mick Gillespie, I'm Brett Elmore. We'll see you tomorrow.